Oh my word. I see them down there. Whew, I see 3 great big ones at least. Oh boy. Can you guys believe it? It's snowing. This is wild. And welcome back, everybody. We are once again in the woods foraging. I know we've been doing a lot of foraging lately, but it's just that time of year. Later in the year we'll do some other stuff. I'm checking an area now that I haven't checked before, or I have checked it before, but not this year. I've found them here before, but nothing yet. But how crazy was that snow this morning? I was in the truck waiting for it to warm up because it was 36 degrees. And I'm sitting there in the truck and I look up from my phone and there's snow coming down. The end of April, snow. Who would have thought? Today I'm not going to spend I'm not going to do a real thorough job, I guess is the way of saying it, of searching. We're going to do kind of a hack and slash job. As I've mentioned in several previous videos, it has been incredibly dry this year. And that little flurry of snow is the only moisture we've gotten. Well, I take that back. We got like 15 minutes of rain earlier in the month, but that little rain and that little flurry of snow was the only moisture we've gotten all month. So there's not going to be that many mushrooms up, if any at all. So I'm not going to spend a boatload of time looking for them. By late April, any that are up are going to be kind of that yellow color, so they'll be fairly easy to spot. It's not like I have to look for them like earlier in the season. Those little gray ones that sometimes pop up, you can't see those as easily. But also, in addition to mushrooms, I'm looking for anything edible. I'm not picky today. I will pick whatever we find. And I just got a stick down the back of my shirt. There we go. What's crazy is earlier in the month it was warmer than it is now. It's like it reversed. It's supposed to be cold and rainy for the next week. I sure wish we could have got this at the beginning of the month. This late in the month, not going to do us a whole lot of good as far as the morels go. Other stuff will grow good if we get some rain. Well, look what we found here. We found a whole bunch of catnip. Now, if you remember one of my previous videos, we found some catnip, and I didn't know if it was safe for humans or not. I did some research, and actually you can make catnip tea out of this. So maybe that's what we'll do. I'll go ahead and harvest some of this. I'll have to take it home, rinse it, and then put it in the dryer. So it's not like something we can enjoy today, but we can do it here in a couple days. Once it's dry, I can go ahead and make some tea out of it, see if it's any good. That should be enough. Once that's dried and crumbled, there'll probably be about 1 or 2 tablespoons there, which is all you need for a cup of tea. There's a couple little tiny mica caps that just popped up, but not that many, and I'm not going to be home for a long time. So as you've heard me say, those you pretty much have to cook them within a very short amount of time of picking them, and we will not be home in time for that. Now, one thing that's different this time around than the last time I was out looking for mushrooms is the poison ivy is actually starting to grow right now. Now, I'm not allergic to it, but a lot of people are, so make sure you know what it is. That way, if you see it, you don't go through it. Because if you are allergic to it, you will have a really bad day. Ah, there we go. We're not going home empty-handed. We found one at least. You see how dry it is though? But you see also the color. That's what I was talking about, how this time of year they're going to be kind of this bright yellow color, but you can see it there. It's starting to dry out pretty good on the tip. Down here at the base it's still nice and moist, but the tip isn't so much. But I'll take it. Better than nothing. I thought maybe we'd find some more here in this thick undergrowth, but I've gone through it pretty thorough now, and this whole area haven't found any others. So one lonely mushroom. What do we got here? Santa glass. Looks like an old medicine bottle. Brockway. You know me and my interesting bottles. I guess we'll hang on to that. Got to find at least one treasure every time we go out in the woods. So it's a semi-productive trip. We got some catnip, 1 mushroom, and 1 bottle so far. Yeah, this stuff right here, you can see this is over waist height. This is all poison ivy. Some of this stuff is almost face height. So you really got to be careful when you're out in the woods if you're allergic to that stuff, because it will mess your day up big time. Looks almost like a bone in that tree. I think that is a bone down there. That's interesting. It's kind of a neat bottle, that green color. I have an idea for some glass that I want to try, so I guess I'll go ahead and hang on to that. But that'll be a little bit later in the year project. Stay tuned for that. I'm about 99% sure that I'm going to do it. Man, I think I am just about done here. I'm not finding nothing. I think we're going to go on to better location. Hopefully better location. I don't know if it'll be any better or not, but we're going to find out together. There we go. There's one right there. It is super dried out. I mean, super dried out. But it's not starting to rot, so it'll rehydrate. And honestly, I'm probably going to dehydrate whatever I find today anyway. So there we go. It was definitely worth the stop. That's a pretty good size one there. I even ripped off part of the stem and left it behind. Oh, what's this? Looks like some super dried up oyster. Almost brick hard. We'll go a little bit further, and then I got one more area I'm going to check. What is that? Now I gotta say, that is a random thing to find way back in the woods. I mean, why is there a shell all the way back here? So I'm guessing some sort of critter grabbed that and brought it a long ways home to eat. Looks like a doe skull. Still no antlers for the year. Oh, there's a leg up there. There's a big old turtle shell. That's a good sized one there. Well, I think that's that for this area. I was gonna go check one more area, but not far from here, but I found one mushroom when I first got here. And I should have just took my one lonely mushroom and left, because I have found nothing since then. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. We had to look at least while we were here, but I'm not gonna bother hiking all the way back to that other spot to maybe find one more mushroom. And maybe there's a whole bunch of mushrooms there, I don't know. But it's not really worth it to me, not today. I've got a bunch of them already dehydrated in the bag. It's not like I need more mushrooms. I want more mushrooms, but I don't need more mushrooms. I'm going to be going to some different spots next week anyway, so maybe I'll find some there. They're a little bit further north where they got a little bit more moisture, so maybe I'll have better luck there. So I think what I'm going to do now is head home. I may go check one more spot. I'll see how I feel when I get back to the truck. It's just a quick walk-in spot, but if not, I'll see you guys when I get home, and we'll start dehydrating that tea. And then of course we'll have to finish the video on a different day once it's dehydrated. Okay, I couldn't resist. I was looking at the map and I saw this area. I have never been here before. I have no clue if we'll find anything or not, but we're gonna give it a shot. Boy, look at this. This is some good looking habitat here. Now it's powder dry once again. Other than that, this looks like prime habitat. It's always fun checking out new areas just because it looks so different. You just never know what you're gonna find. And even if we don't find anything that we can eat, maybe we'll find a cool treasure. Hard telling. Check out all these fallen trees. They're a little bit more dead than what I would like. I wish I would have checked this area out a couple years ago. They do still have some bark. Oh, there's like a pond back here. That's interesting. Let's go check that out. This is crazy. I never knew this even existed. Huh. I wonder if there's any fish in that. I bet there is. I bet there's some big old lunker catfish down in there. All these trees out in the water. Man. I'm gonna have to mark this on the map and remember this and come back here. It's got a really steep bank. There's a spot over there a guy could fish off of. Maybe some more spots down there, but yeah, this is definitely a spot to come back and check out with a fishing pole. It is beautiful out here though. Mixed trees and pasture and pond and you name it. Definitely glad that I stopped to check this out, even if I don't find anything. It's really cool spot to come back and check out later. I think one of the biggest challenges of this area, finding anything, is because of this real tall grass, this real thick grass. Mushrooms won't care, they'll grow in this grass no matter what. But finding them is an absolute challenge. You pretty much have to be right on top of them to find them. Dry creek bed, or mostly dry creek bed. Let's check this out. I have found some absolute monsters before growing along creek beds just like this. There's something that didn't fare too well. Oh, that's a badger. There's a deceased badger laying there on the ground. That's pretty wild. There's a ton of garlic mustard growing around here. Here's one right here. There's bunches of elm trees all through here. Like this looks like this would be perfect. This is one of the best areas, looking areas anyway, that I've seen all year. It's got a little bit of green undergrowth. It makes it a little bit hard, but it's not so much to where you can't, you know, find stuff. That's pretty crazy. All the way back in here, and there's still signs of humans leaving trash behind. Now that's a pretty old can. It's probably been here a long time, but I am nowhere near any roads, nowhere near civilization. I actually have no clue where I'm at right now. I'm kind of walking blind. This is kind of neat. You can see where a woodpecker has been going to town on what's left of this old stump. You know, this area doesn't look as good. Oh, there's a tree over there that woodpecker's been tearing up too. Looks like he made a face in it. Got the two eyes and the mouth. Yeah, this area just isn't looking quite as good anymore. We'll keep going a little bit further. That woodpecker's been busy. What in the world is that? Not entirely sure what that is. It's hard. That's interesting though. This old dead tree. Man, where are you hiding at, Morels? There's got to be at least a few in here. Just got to figure out where they are. Whoa, check that out. That thing is huge. There's my foot. That thing is way bigger than my foot. The biggest morels I ever found were the ones I found last year, which those videos are here on this channel if you want to check that out. Those were some monsters. Made a pop can look small. But I've seen people, not so much in this area, but you know, out east, Iowa, Missouri, places like that, they have found some absolute monstrosities late in the season. Bunch more of those funky little white ones, whatever those are. Looks like the remnants of an old homemade tree stand up there. That's a big tree. Old tree. Speaking of old trees, look at this one here that fell over. I bet that made a loud bang when it hit the ground. That thing is huge. Boy, it's nice and peaceful and serene out here. Absolutely beautiful back here. Looks like we stumbled upon another creek. Evidently there used to be a bridge here. Hard telling when that was. But while we're here, let's explore it. It's pretty dry, but there is a little bit of moisture, so if I were a morel, I think I'd grow right here. There's quite the interesting tree. It's like a big old bubble down here at the bottom on this side. Never seen nothing like that before. That's kind of interesting. Huh. Still no luck on the mushroom front though. I'm starting to run out of steam. I got a lot of miles to walk back to the truck. It's a little bit discouraging not finding nothing at all. I thought for sure we'd find at least a couple. But I guess what I'll do is I'll go back to the creek, walk up the creek on the other side, and then kind of cut over to the opposite side of the way I walked in here and try to take a different path back than what I came in, and maybe we'll find something on that path. Where I'm at right now, I've actually been here before, and it was actually right here in this area somewhere. I found mushrooms once, but that was 4 years ago. Oh my word. I see them down there. Whew, I see 3 great big ones at least. Oh boy, it was worth the hike. That's crazy. Here I am talking about how I used to find them there, but I'm going to go ahead and give up. Then I walk down here and see some monsters. Worth the hike for sure. I mean, these aren't the biggest I've ever found, but check those out. There's 2 big ones there. Make sure I don't step on any. Oh, there's 2 there that are pretty good sized. There's a big one there. Oh yeah. Look at these bad boys compared to my hand. I mean, they're as tall as my hand is. Oh yeah, there we go. There's that one there. So what is that? 5 of them so far. We'll kind of look around in this area, see if there's any more. It's kind of interesting how they're out here in the middle like this. But yeah, this soil down here I'm in right now, as you can see, I did the dig test and it's nice and moist. So that's what I needed right there, is some moisture. Let me get some pictures of these before I pluck them though. Yeah, you can feel the moisture in these. These are so much more moist than the ones I picked earlier. These are what I like finding. These are the ones I find on good years. So down here in the middle of this creek is actually a good spot to come. So maybe this is what we'll do, is we'll walk back up the creek. And there's the final product. There's my hand. As you can see, these 2 down here aren't quite as big, but these here are all pretty good size. I mean, they're not the biggest I've ever found, like I say, but that's still really good sized mushrooms. These are good, but these are really good right here. So definitely very happy that I made the hike. That made it all worth it, because I have hiked a lot of miles today. I don't see any more. I kind of checked this whole island out. I think what these came from is this tree right here that has fallen over. I think this is a cottonwood, or I'm not sure what this is exactly. But whatever it is, it's kind of half dead, and so they were growing off the roots of it. I looked all through these bushes and everything. I don't see any more around here. So like I say, we're going to go ahead. Maybe I'll keep going up the stream a little ways, then I'll turn around and go back down this way and just kind of stay right close to the stream. We won't stray away from that, because I think that's the ticket, is being close to water. That's actually some fairly deep water. We'll go exploring. Oh, right there's another one. This one's a little bit drier, but still it's a really good size one. We'll come back for it in a second. I want to make a video on my phone too, to make a reel out of finding all these. I recorded those others, but we'll look around. Man, this is working out pretty good. Oh boy, we're on it now. Oh, we are on it now. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of them right there. Oh, there's 10. There's one right here. Now these are a little bit drier. We're not right close to the water anymore. I can't even talk. I'm so excited. The water is that way a little ways, but I saw this big old tree that's fallen over fairly recently. Most of the bark is still on it, and everywhere the roots of that thing reach, there could be mushrooms. So we're at 10, counting that one there. Like I say, they're a little bit dried out. Oh, there's 11. There's some big ones down there. I wish I would have found these about a week ago, or 3 or 4 days ago even. Oh, here's 2 more, 3 more. They're still salvageable. That one there's a little bit far gone, but I don't know. I think we can make do with them. Yeah, they're just naturally air dried. They'll be fine, but look at those bad boys. So that's what, 13? There's 14. Oh boy, 15, 16. I already counted these two, but I'm going to pick them so I don't have to come back for them. I'm going to go up there and make a separate video of those in there. These are all big ones too. They say they're a little bit on the dry side. If only we would have got some rain. If we would have got rain over the last week, these would be ginormous. Before I go back, I want to search around this side of the tree. Make sure there's none growing over here. We'll go down there here in a second. I'm just kind of making a quick scan, lay of the land. This tree has enough bark on it. They might grow here again next year. So I'll mark this spot on my GPS. Oh, yep, there's one. 17. What did we find earlier? 6 of them, 5 in the one spot, and 1 in the other. So that's 23. Oh, I see a whole bunch of them right here. Whole bunch of them. Oh my word, look at that one right there. Check that bad boy out. That is huge. Man, if only these weren't so dry. Absolute monsters. So 18, 19, be 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I found a couple more right here. And then I see another one down there. I'm kind of scanning through these. I don't see any over this direction though. And as big as they are, you can see them from quite a ways away. We're going to come back for that one though, because I want to go down there and search that hole area. Actually, I better just grab it while I'm here. Hopefully whatever's in that hole is at home. Guess we'll keep the camera rolling just in case. Yeah, there we go. Boy, another, a few more days, these wouldn't be salvageable. So I'm glad I found them today. I'm glad I made the decision to make one more stop. If these were fresh and moist, I would have probably about $300 right now. But the way it is, I have probably about $100 because they're so dried out and light. They don't weigh nothing hardly. Those small moist ones I found earlier weigh more than this one does. I'm just scanning the area while I'm down here. Make sure I don't miss any. Just go over here, double check. Just make sure. I need to remember to come back and check this spot next year a little bit earlier, unless it's a wet year, and then it's okay to wait. Because where I'm at right now, I mean, obviously it's not impossible, but there's a very small chance of anybody finding all this stuff. Because I had to hike through some thick bush a long ways to get here. There's another one. This one looks like it's already broken off. Might not be salvageable. No, I think we can work with that. Make sure it's not full of bugs. No, it's good. I can work with that. And here's another one. I think this is number 27. I even looked over the top of this hill down here. Didn't even see that one. Or that one I just got over there. I guess we'll run over here real quick by the creek. Make sure there's none growing right down here. Yeah, we'll check out that side over there here in a minute. Looks like there's another tree that's fallen across the creek down there. We'll have to go down and check it out too. But first, let's go up here, mark this spot on the GPS, gather up the other ones that I haven't got yet, and then we'll keep on going. Oh, there's two more back there that I didn't see that are pretty dry, but we're going to pick them anyway. I see another one back there. Oh man, guys, definitely worth the hike. It was already worth the hike off those few that we got a little bit ago. Look at this big one here. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There's one hiding under the leaves. There's one hiding under the leaves. I just keep finding more and more and more of them. This is what I'm talking about. This reminds me of the good years. Every time I'd go out on a good year, oh, there's a big one over there. Oh yeah, this is like times gone past. So like I was saying, on a good year, every time I'd go out, it was like this. But boy, this is way better than anything I had last year. That's a good, healthy one down here. A little bit dry on the top, but cannot complain. It's kind of crazy how there are almost none growing on this side of the tree. Just this one that I saw back here. Look at that, it's just barely holding on for dear life. It's not even in the ground anymore. I can only imagine how big these things would have been on a wet year. This would have been just an astronomical find. Still is an astronomical find. This is pretty awesome. That is for sure. One year on a wet year, I found a patch like that of great big ones, and I picked probably, I don't know, within a mile hike or half a mile hike, not even a mile, within a half-mile hike along the edge of a pond. I picked probably 5 bags full. I mean, I'm talking 25, 30 pounds. That was a good year that year. That's actually how I bought my dehydrator. I took them all home and I dehydrated some of them. And then the ones I didn't dehydrate, I sold. And I sold enough of them to pay for the dehydrator. But I think we're kind of approaching the end of it now. So I'll do one last run through to make sure. And then we'll head on down the creek. Nope, there's another one. If I was picking these to sell, I would cut them off at the very, very base, right above the dirt. Get the maximum dollar value out of them, but I don't do all that. I mean, I have sold them in the past, but anymore, I just keep them for myself, dehydrate them, and reuse them again later. Ones like this, these big ones, once you dehydrate these, they're still big enough to where when you rehydrate them, that you can bread them and fry them. Those little ones like I did before, those are only good for like sauteing and putting on burgers and things like that. Once you dehydrate them, they don't really they don't shrink anymore when you cook them. They kind of go down to their fully shrunken size, but they don't get big enough to bread. Look at that. That is a boatload of mushrooms. Can you imagine that though? I wish I would have been filming back then the year that I had. I think I had 4 of these mesh bags full, and then I had, I think 2 or 3, no, that's right, I had 2 plastic bags full, and then I actually had to take my t-shirt off and tie the sleeves closed and the neck closed and use it for a bag as well. That was a crazy, crazy year. I actually had to call a friend. I'm like, hey, can you come pick me up? There's no way I can hike back with all these mushrooms. And so he came and picked me up. Look at that. That is absolutely awesome. That's probably more than what will fit in my dehydrator, but we'll do our best. Not as exciting anymore, especially when they're small like this, but hey, we're still gonna grab it. Here's another big old tree that has fallen across the creek. It's got a bunch of dried up oysters growing on the base of it, but I see 1, 2, 3, 4 morels, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bunches of morels growing all around this thing, and I've just started looking. Hard telling what we'll find. 10 right there. This bad boy was loaded with oysters once upon a time, all the way up the sides of it. But I'm looking and I see one great big yellow one down there, maybe 2. I can't quite tell if that's a leaf or what that is. I think I saw another one somewhere over here. Where did I see that at? I know I saw one. Retrace my steps. Oh, there it is. Now I see it. A little bit further over than what I thought it was. There we go. Oh yeah. Not as many around this tree, but still probably 15 or so altogether. Yeah, that was one. I thought it was. There we go. There's a little tiny dried up one right there, but it's so small, I think we'll just leave it. I've actually left a handful behind. The small, really, really dry ones. Oh, there's one there growing on the side. We'll grab that one. There's one there. There's one there. This is the area that just keeps giving. The two amigos. What do we got here? They look a little bit on the old side, but I've never showed you guys these before. Yeah, and theirs all falling apart. Let's see if we get this one. Yeah, they're both falling apart. They're too old to eat. I forget the actual technical name of these. Man, my brain is not working. I can't remember now. I'll have to look them up later. But they kind of have that cottony texture inside. These are edible, although they don't taste as good as morels. And more people have reactions to these than they do to morels. So these aren't quite as safe to eat, but they're really not dangerous per se, as long as you cook them properly. Like I say, these here, I mean, they're probably technically still good enough to eat. They're not that bad, but I've got plenty of morels, so I don't need these. Here we go. I haven't seen one of these yet this year. These little purple flowers, I forget what they're called, but these are completely edible, just like they are. They actually kind of have a sweet flavor to them. That was actually one of the first wild edibles, other than mushrooms, that I ate, was one of those flowers like that. I found a whole bunch of them one time, and I looked them up, found out what they were, found out they're actually pretty good on salads. The leaves are edible too, but they're a little bit bitter. But the flowers actually taste really good, just like they are. That's pretty wild. 4 brand new rolls of barbed wire just sitting back here. It's all rusted and falling apart now, so it's been there a long time, but they must have been planning on building a fence and never got it done at one point. Check this out. There's a deer stand on this tree. Looks like a fairly old deer stand. Definitely not super recent anyway. But that's why, if you're putting a stand in a tree, you always make sure you put it in a good tree. Because how would you like to be sitting in that one that fell over? I am making my way back towards the truck. I'm actually in a different area now completely. I found a handful more morels in that area that I was. Nothing spectacular. But I'm just kind of making my way through here. It's really marshy ground, so I thought maybe I'd find some more, but no luck yet. There's a bunch of dried up oysters. There's a bunch of them right there growing off that piece of bark all over this tree here, so let's keep our eyes open. Maybe some morels growing around it. Those are definitely fall oysters. Next fall, I need to come look along this creek too. Get a bunch of oysters probably. And it won't be quite so overgrown at that point. A little bit easier to traverse. I'm just hiking along, not finding much. And I spy that bad boy. That one's a little bit too far gone. We're not going to save it, but that would have been a big one. About a week and a half ago, that would have been a real good one. It's been dried up for a while though. If that's here, there might have been more. Yep, there's one right there. Super, super dry. Oh, look at this monster right here. That's a big old mama. Oh, wow. Look at the base on that bad boy. Completely dried up. That's kind of depressing. Still really neat though. Look at the size of that. That's bigger than my hand. Do I spy one that's still salvageable? I think I do. Oh, there's one there. That one's definitely salvageable. Check that bad boy out. Oh yeah. That one's actually still fairly moist. A little bit dry on the ridges, but definitely salvageable. Where's that other one at? There it is. Yeah, see, look at the size of these things. We're getting some big ones now. Of course, those are big earlier. They've been big all day. I love the end of the season, because that's when you can find the monsters if they're still good. Still bothers me about that great big one. But you can't save them all. That great big one probably spread a ton of spores. This one's still good though. Yeah, that one's definitely salvageable. But yeah, those three that were too dried up to save spread a bunch of spores for a future day. Any more? Or are we just at 2? Here's some funky stuff. Not sure what this stuff is. Some sort of fungus. Definitely not edible. Once again, this area looks really good, but I think we're too high and dry. I need to get back down to the lower areas again. No morels, but they're a variety of mushroom we haven't seen yet today. Figured I'd show you guys while we were here. I think my truck is this direction somewhere. I'm trying to figure out exactly where I'm at. My maps aren't loading, so I'm not 100% positive, but I think I'm headed in the right direction. Looks like I found another pond. This one doesn't look as nice as that other one did though. A little bit mossy. I doubt this one's very deep. But it's deep enough, I'm going to have to find a way around it because it goes all the way up in there. I guess I'll have to walk quite a ways out of my way. I'm guessing this was somebody's hunting blind at one point in time for turkeys or deer or something. I would assume turkeys, but this is kind of thick in here and there's no trails. So I don't know why they were set up here, but maybe that was a long time ago. Probably was. So maybe it was different back then. And yet another pond. Been finding a lot of ponds lately. Bunches of ducks. Well, there's the final tally. I made it back to the truck finally. Didn't find any more, not even dried up ones. So that's all we're getting out of here. I will not be back to this area again the rest of the year. Well, not for morels anyway. I am going to go morel hunting probably 2, maybe 3 more times. I'm not sure yet. It just kind of depends on how things go, but I'll probably go out on Monday to a spot. I'll probably look on Tuesday at a spot, and then probably again on Wednesday I'll search one more spot, and then I'll probably be done with morels for the year. I may come back to this area again though later this year to go fishing in that pond, that first big pond that we saw. There might be other wild edibles that grow here. I don't know. I'll have to see how the year goes, but I definitely want to try fishing in that pond. If I bring back my fishing poles, I don't know exactly how to get there. It's going to be kind of a challenge to get my fishing poles back through those trees because that pond's kind of hard to get to, but I will figure that out. I'm going to take all these home plus those tea leaves and I'm going to dry them out. So actually I'm going to go ahead and end this one here. I hope you enjoyed this adventure. I had a blast today. I could have gone to a farm auction. There were actually 3 farm auctions within a reasonable driving distance within 2 or 3 hours of here. I could have gone to any one of those, which I did buy 3 old trucks. At one I left a bid with a guy, and so I did buy a few at least at that one. But I thought, you know what, I know people on YouTube, you'd probably rather see the farm auction, but I film farm auctions all the time. I only get to go mushroom hunting probably 5 or 6 days a year. And so me personally, I made more memories today than I would have at a farm auction, that's for sure. And so I guess maybe this video was a little bit selfish. This one was for me. But anyway, I said I'll let y'all go, so I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day, and remember to get out there and find an adventure. And don't worry about what anybody else thinks. You find yourself an adventure. We'll see you next time.